pick up these drill bits that are not in my set. So I'm struggling hardcore here. Miller time for the win. All right, everything has been curing now for not quite 24 hours. But we're not going to be putting anything under any kind of strain here. So it'll finish out the last bit of curing. You'll see it lost some of that reflex coming out of the glue up. Oh my, this is gonna be stiff to start. It's amazing how much resistance these limbs will get despite the small dimensions. Alright, I'm pretty pleased that they have come out similar in shape. So that's going to be good. Let's see here. Here is our riser piece. So they're going to be heading off in about that general direction. So this is the general shape of this bow. Well, I have been test drilling holes to make sure that I've got the right drill bits to install this hardware that I got from Shatterproof, and having some difficulty finding the exact sizes. And so I went ahead and referenced which bits I need, and here's how it works out. I need an 11/32 inch bit, a 7/16 inch bit, and a 15/64 inch bit. Clearly I have not complicated my whole drilling career because I don't own a single one of those size bits. So the project's at a standstill, I guess. Well, when you find yourself needing to find tools for just one job and they're not in your garage, going to the same place everybody goes to pick up these drill bits that are not in my set. All right, $30 later, and we are ready to get this build back on track. This has been the part of the build that has really kind of had me somewhat perplexed about how I'm going to ensure that I get my hardware installed and also keep my alignment on the limbs. And of course, that's the tricky part of these style of builds. If you're doing it in fiberglass, of course, you have everything that's exactly the same width. You know, like 1.5 inches wide. You just lay it on a flat plane, you assemble it, just goes together. In this instance, we don't necessarily have that luxury, and I really like to take, you know, precision operations and make them as simple as possible. So I'm going to start here. I got a centering jig here, so I've marked out my center lines, and I don't know, hopefully, let's see here. Yeah, you can kind of see the lines in the sun, at least the reflection of the pencil in the sun. So I know my centers, and the trick with this is that the indexing pin goes in between everything, right? So it's going to go into the riser, into the belly piece or into the lamb, but not through the back. And so it's not like we can line everything up and drill a hole clean through. and make that work. I mean, we could, but you lose the, you know, the integrity of the backing, the look of the bow, all of those things. So got to figure out how we're going to get that interior hole done and keep everything lined up, right? So here's my plan. My intent to make it easy. We'll see if this plays out. I'm going to first install the pins. I'm going to get the, I'm just going to lay them out on the limbs, centered, and get them drilled in. I'll do that on the drill press so that I know I've got good, clean drill holes and that they are perpendicular to one another, right? And then we are going to assemble the bow with just the pins. Now that will, of course, allow the limbs to swivel like this. But we'll put some clamping pressure on there, get everything all lined up, and apply those clamps outside of where we need to put the hardware. And once we've got everything lined up, clamped down, ready to go, we'll put it into the drill press, get it all lined up perpendicular, and drill through both pieces. At that point then, I have to widen the hole here. So what I can do is, while it's still in the drill press or in the clamp, I can drill through here, remove the main clamp, take this off, go back with the larger diameter drill bit and finish the job. That's my plan. We will see if that works. Okay, here's my setup. I have a clamp for my drill press here. I have evened everything up across the plane of this clamp, which is flat and level and perpendicular to the drill bit. I have marked out and then used an awl to give myself a point where I'm going to drill my hole. And then I have my stop set up to go just through the main portion of the limb and not through the rest of everything. And as it turns out, from right here on down, that's a 1/4 inch deep. Looks like I made it through to the ledge piece there just a little bit. Yeah, perfect. That's what we need right there. All right, so going to do the same thing with the other limb, and then we'll get our setup for the riser piece. All right, so here is the setup for the riser. Again, I've got it set up on the same plane as the clamp here, and I have my depth set to 3/8 of an inch since the pin is 5/8. So we got a 1/4 inch going into the limb, 3/8 left then for here, and then we will check it for fit. Oh man, fucking missed the mark big time. I realize I just cussed on film, so now I'm gonna have to report that to the good people over there at YouTube, or I'll cut it out. All right, I had one that I had actually misaligned on the other side, so this one would be it, and they actually fit pretty well flush. That's gonna work out pretty good, or will work out okay. And it would seem as though I have no gapping, so that shouldn't be an issue. It would also seem that we're missing the end mark by about 1/8 of an inch, so a little bit of work to be handled here. We'll go ahead and set up the other side. I don't know how the hell I'm missing. I mean, I just don't understand how I'm missing the alignment, to be real honest with you. Where somebody out there's got some good advice for getting this stuff lined up such that it actually goes where it's supposed to, hit me up with that information. So I'm struggling hardcore here. All right, here we go. Other limb. We're going to say well enough is good enough. This limb is actually narrower than the other side, and it's got a little bit of proud line right here. It's going to be all on one side. So we'll be able to get this lined up okay. All right, here's our result. The pins are actually just holding the limbs right in place for me. And when I kind of square them up against the edge, they actually tend to line up pretty well, just on initial observation. So this is where our string will come into play. And we can check the alignment. Just like we were trying to check out say a crooked board or something like this. And get these guys centered right in the middle of their limb tips. And we want to get that string tracking dead center. And I've got one small problem in that it is catching up on the actual limbs themselves. As that is right there. Yep, and you can see it in the camera angle. You're straight. And any very minor issues with regard to alignment can then be handled out here right on the tips of the actual limbs, which were left, you know, a little bit wide to accommodate such a need. So my plan is to maintain the alignment here, clamp this into place, and then I have a means of putting it into the drill press clamped sideways, which should allow me to then drill the holes. If it goes like the last time around, you might need a little bit of, you may need a few Hail Marys to get it right. I am basically just figuring this out as I go. So hopefully just way the fuck off. I've been sucking on this toothpick to swell it up so it's really tight fit in the hole that I just drilled. Okay, so I have drilled pilot holes where the hardware is going to go here, and I'm working on getting the alignment right on each of these limbs. And I've pretty much sorted out that on this limb on this side, that if it's pretty much flat to the riser, down here that I am pretty much in good shape as far as getting my alignment right. All right, I'm in place. I am going to just ever so slightly drill into the main body there. Man alive. I feel like that went in very, but it's not moving. And I guess that's the point. So we are lined up here. So now between the pins and the toothpicks, this is going to hold steady, and then I'll drill out the existing toothpick hole. All right, going to drill down. It should be a through hole on my limb, and then we'll switch out bits to get the hole for the hardware here. So wish me luck. Okay, looks like I got all the way through. So, all right, inside. All right, well, guess we will take on faith that that is in fact good to go until we get the other side. Okay, I'm going to call that the brain damage part of the build. And I'm not even 100% sure that it worked. So we are going to set aside the limbs for a moment and get the inserts here put into place. So, all right, guys, I am calling it Miller time for the win. That's about as lined up as I could hope to be. And when viewed from the back, the limbs are also in the single plane. So I guess the brain damage was worth the effort. Something else, once you start getting leverage on things like this, the initial bends on this, the initial floor tillering, we are not far off from probably right where we want to be in terms of draw weight. All right, guys, so here's how we ended up. See the riser and then the limbs bolted on there. We managed to get lined up beautifully. So real happy with at least the project up to this point. The floor tiller on it seems to be pretty good as well. Those limbs just barely not straightening out under a regular floor tiller here. So hanging on to just a little bit of reflex, which is okay because these tips are very, very thin. And as we narrow them, they're going to give up some of that flex. But yeah, guys, we are in business. We're ready to move on to the next stage. This has been a challenge of a project, to be sure. Definitely need some systems in place to make it a little more systematic, you know, moving forward if I were to do any other ones. Although I don't know that this is going to be a style of bow that I do a whole lot of. It's just something that I really was interested in trying. So long ways yet to go, but guys, that's all coming up. So thank you for joining me this week, and I will catch up with you in the next episode.